what project and the time horizon. So based on the method, technical method which the industry chooses, according to that the time depends, and selecting the forecasting models. So this is the point which explains the technique, the method, the strategy which the industry is going to take. So in this forecasting models, we are having this slide shows the techniques of demand forecasting. All these are the various techniques, various methods, various strategies which industry can use for this demand forecasting. So this demand forecasting is broadly divided into survey methods and the statistical and the mathematical method. The first one is the qualitative method, second one is the quantitative method. So in these two methods, industry, according to the purpose, the time horizon, the product which they are going to be take, about based on several informations, they are going to gather, collecting the data regarding that particular product's future demand, and they are going to analyze from this. So under these survey methods, they are qualitative. So these qualitative methods, this survey method, qualitative method, uh, here the surveys are conducted and the informations can be get from the customers. That is, those informations are based on the customers' intentions, but also here the various opinions from various persons can taken. So under this survey method, so the informations are going to gathered by the industry from the customers and the experts and the various persons who are related with the product. Under this survey method, the first one is the complete enumeration method. What do you mean by complete enumeration? Complete enumeration. Enumeration deals with the numericals, numbers. Complete enumeration. So under this method, nearly all the buyers who are potential to buy. So all the potential buyers are asked about their future purchase plans. Because this data, this survey method is in the current period, and they are going to get the information data from the potential buyers about their future plans, future products, future purchasing pattern. So all the customers of the product are contacted and asked to indicate their plans of the future purchasing. And here the probable demand of all the customers, they are put together. The sum of all these probable demand of individuals of all the customers are gained or summed up or put together to obtain the sales forecast or the to know about the demand forecast. And second method is the sample survey method. Yeah, okay, it's like the complete enumeration. That is, here yeah, sample group, a limited number of customers are selected for the interview. That is, in economics, we are having several methods to choose the sample, and we are having some guidelines how to choose a sample. So in this sample choosing method, we are having a lot of methods, strategies, techniques to follow to choose a particular sample. So the industry can follow any method to choose the sample. So a sample of potential buyers is chosen scientifically, that is by using the methods scientifically, and only those persons, those sample members are chosen for interview. Only those peoples are included, and those peoples are asked the questions regarding their future plans. So only the few potential customers are in the sample survey method. And the next one is the end use method. Okay, the end use product is the product which the customers using that particular product, that is the final user of the product, those is called as the end use method. So those products are called as the end use products, and the method is called as the end use method. So here the final users of the product are taken into account. Maybe there may be a individual user or consuming industries. The industry may consume a final product, or we are having different sectors to consume these kind of products. So the demand for this final product is the end use demand. And the other method of this survey is the opinion poll methods. That is, gathering the different opinions from various kinds of people. And here the demand estimation is collected through the opinions who are having, the persons who are having or who are having some knowledge about the market, the product, the region, all those things. So the collective judgment of all these knowledgeable person makes the source of this opinion polling methods. So under this opinion polling method, the first one is the expert's opinion. So here the researcher or the field worker who are going to collect the data. That person is normally called as the researcher or a field worker. So that person identifies the experts of the commodity. So he or she, the researcher, identifies the experts of that particular commodity which the forecast have to be done. So he searches for those experts and they are collecting the informations, that is collecting the data in the current period about the future plan. So they are collecting the data from those experts, and here in this field these experts may be the salesman because they are having the close contact with the people, with the customers. So they can have the opinion about the demand of the products. So here we can have the opinions of the salesman, or if the industry is having some separate department for the sales, means we can have it from there. Otherwise sales management personnel, otherwise the controller of the sales department. So we can have the opinions from these expertise, and these informations data are put together and the forecast is made. And the second method is the Delphi method. Delphi method, here also the group of people are there, and they are anonymous. That is the unknown persons or make a group, and that group is called as the Delphi group. And in that group, the expert also, sometimes they are also being a part of this. And here these participants, that is the researcher or the industry or the field worker who wants to gather information. So that person sends the forecast questionnaire. Questionnaire is the list of questions in a paper. The field worker send the questions to each member of the Delphi group, and they have to fill the question paper with the answers. And the facilitator who is collecting the data, he collects all the question papers, all the answers from the participants, and those data are summed up. They are statistically summarized, and one conclusion was arrived. And again, this summarized paper is again passed through to the participants who are answered the questions, and they are looking each other's answer, and they can conclude a final decision. So based on that, the forecast can be made. So this is the process under Delphi method. And because and this is the time consuming process, because so many question filling processes going on, so many things are going on. So this method is called considered as the time consuming process, and this may be largely used for the new products or the products which have a very long run forecast, which needed a long run forecast. For those commodities, this Delphi method can be used. Yeah, yes.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah, ma'am.
Ma'am, can you please make everyone as attendees, ma'am?
Okay. Okay, now is it okay, Ritika?
Yes, ma'am. Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Yeah, okay. So the second one is the market studies or the market experiments. Here, for example, here the demand is forecasted by conducting various studies, market studies and the market experiments on the behavior of the consumer, that is their purchasing behavior, purchasing pattern. And here this is conducted under the certain conditions, market conditions. That is, the market should be controlled, or the market or the region have to be have the population which can be manageable, all those things. So based on certain conditions, these market studies and experiments are taken, and this method is very expensive and also time consuming. So on this market experimentation, the first one is test market. So in order to in order to set this market experiment, the firm first selects the test market, the place, the region, area where the product have to be tested. So this may be consist of the several cities or a particular geographical region of a country, or maybe from the world, or the sample customers. So the group has been selected by the company or the facilitator, and then the product is tested, and with the results the forecast is made. And second one is the laboratory test, and here this is the another way of conducting the market experimentation. So here the consumer clinic or the controlled laboratory experiment is used. Here in this method, the consumers are given some money to buy the products, and which is predetermined. So they are giving some money, they given some money, and they are asked to purchase, and they can purchase various products which varies in their prices, packages, brands, displays. So according to the consumer choice, they are purchasing the products, and the consumer's responsiveness to this variations are studied. That is, which type of commodity at under what brand they. So the features, characteristics of the products as well as the purchase behavior of the consumers are registered here. So based on this, the forecast is made. So this is under the survey method. So under this techniques, one is the survey qualitative method. So the qualitative method is broadly divided into two. One is the consumer survey. Second one is the opinion polling method. So consumer survey method, which follows the direct interview, that is direct contact between the researcher and the consumers. So three methods are follow under the consumer survey. One is complete enumeration, second one is sample, the third one is the end use, and the second method of the survey is the opinion poll methods. So on this opinion poll, it's further divided into two. One is the expert opinion, second one is the market studies. So on the experts, we are having the single method, that is from the ordinary person or from the expertise, and the second one is the Delphi method. And under the market study, market experiments, we are having the market test and the laboratory test method. Is this clear, guys? Is this clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so this survey methods is the first half of the techniques which are used for this demand forecasting. So the second is the statistical method, the mathematical method, which the companies, industries are using to collect the data. So under this statistical methods, here we are having several statistical methods. Not only these three, we are having many more statistical methods which is used for to forecast the demand. So here it is, we are having only three. Trend, first one is the trend projection method, second one is the barometric, and third one is the econometrics method. So in this statistical method, which are quantitative, here we are going to see some numericals on the trend projection method and the econometrics method. On this econometrics method, just we are going to see about the regression analysis alone, not about the simultaneous equations. Just we are going to see about the regression methods alone. Okay, and here this trend projection was divided into further divisions. We'll see in detail. And regarding the barometric method, in this barometric method, just we are using the economic indicators, the economic variables, economic activities to forecast, to make the forecast. So according to the movement of these activities, indicators, the forecast is made. Here we are having a leading variable, lagging variable, which moves in the same direction, means those activities are called as the leading variables. So from this we can make a forecast. Otherwise, if it is some lag, means in the movements, those indicators are called as the lag indicators. So according to the movements in the economic activities, economic variables, economic indicators, the forecast is made. So this is about the barometric method, and the third one is the econometrics method. So under this econometric methods, we are having only two. We are also having several methods which can be used under econometric models. So here we are having only two regression methods and the simultaneous equations. Of these two, just we are going to see about the regression method, which comes under the simple variable method. Simple regression method, here we are going to discuss. So in this statistical methods, just we are going to discuss about the trend projection method and the regression method, which comes under the econometric model. Just we are going to discuss in detail about these two alone, and not about the barometric or the simultaneous equations or the multivariate regression method, which can use by the multiple independent variables which affects the dependent factor. So here just we are going to see about the trend projection method and the simple regression method alone. Is it clear, guys?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. So trend projection method. So trend projection method is one of the most widely used techniques of demand forecasting. Here, this statistical methods is for long-term demand forecasting, whereas the survey methods is for mostly those methods is for short-term demand forecasting, and this statistical method is for long-term forecasting because it includes various data. So this trend projection is one of the method which is mostly used, and this method also assumes the factors which are responsible for the past trends of the variable is to be projected, and this is assumed the same pattern will continue in the future too. That is in determining the magnitude or the direction, the movement of the variables. So whatever may be the thing in the past is going to be continued in the future. For example, if there is increase in the variable, means it is assumed and it is forecast that is the same pattern, the same increasing pattern is going to be followed in the future too. So this is based on the trend projection methods. Under this trend projection methods, under this trend projection method, the first thing is the time series analysis. Time series analysis. So this is the thing which we are going to see under the time series analysis. So to know the definition of time series analysis with examples. So what is that method and what are the things in the time series analysis and how to calculate. So these are the things which we are going to see in this time series, and what are the components of time series, that is what are the variables can be included under this, and the model of time series. So we are having formulas and equations, how to calculate the calculate the numericals under this method, and what is the use of this method and how to use this method, and to study the measurement of trend methods, what are the other measurements, and to solve the problems using the above said methods. So these are the things which we are going to study in this time series analysis. So in this time series analysis, we are having, it deals with the numericals. As
Ma'am,
yeah,
ma'am, what is time series analysis?
I'm going to explain. We are going to. Is it okay?
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. So this is the thing which we are going to deal with the time series analysis. Time series analysis is one of the quantitative method. So quantitative method always includes the numericals. So it includes the data. So here we are having, in this time series analysis, we are having three types of data. One is cross section, second one is time series, third one is the panel data. So cross section data is the data where the variables regarding the variable collected at a particular time period, and time series data refers to the same thing but based on the different time periods, that is based on the chronological order. And the panel data is the combination of these two cross section. So panel data contains the information of cross section as well as the time series. So this cross section and the time series data both dealt with the single variable, but under the cross section data, the data of the particular variable were taken at a single period of time. And in the time series, the different time periods were taken. So that's the difference between this cross section and the time series data. And the panel data contains the both. That is the data which is based on the time periods of the variable is under the panel data. So the time series analysis is the data collected on the variable at different time periods. So that is called as the time series analysis. So how we are going to make an analysis with the use of these kind of data. So that is called as the time series analysis. Is it clear? Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes,
ma'am. So the time series data, time series is the set of data collected and arranged in accordance to the time. For example, for various years, what was the profit, or what was the sales, or what was the demand. So these kind of yeah.
In time series analysis, we deal with all the three types of data or only time series data?
It depends upon the method we are choosing and also depend on the product which was taken. So normally this time series includes the data which is related to different time periods. Based on the chronological order, the data were taken to make an analysis. So the time series data were taken because we have to extend the same for the future. So we are taking the data at different time periods, and those are going to extend it for the future time periods. So normally the time series data were taken for this analysis. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
And one of this definition of time series analysis was given as a time series consists of data arranged chronologically. So the data, that is time series, it's a set of data which were collected and arranged in accordance to the time. So that's the time series analysis. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And next one is the components of the time series. So we are having several components which affects the time series analysis. So based on this, the products may be categorized. So the first thing is the secular trend. That is, this secular trend is the long-term movement, maybe the increase or a decrease. So these kinds of data are called as the long-term data, is named as the secular trend. For example, the data which relates to the population census, so that may be called as the secular trend. So the long-term data. And second one is the cyclical patterns. The products, the demand, the forecast, which is in the past. So if it is in the cyclical pattern, cyclical wave-like means, which has some up and down repetitive movements. So that is called as the cyclical patterns, and it is noted with the letter capital C. For example, we can say about the recessions or the business cycles, which I already discussed, which includes the four phases: recession, recovery, peak or the boom period, and the depression period. So that can be taken as an example for the cyclical pattern. And next one is the third one is the seasonal patterns. So based on the seasons on a particular period, there may be some upward movement, and in the other periods has the downward movements for the product. So it occurs periodically. For example, the seasonal products. And the last one is the irregular movements. So this is the thing which is not comes under the above three. So these are the products which has some seasonal, sometimes it may be based on the seasonal and sometimes may be based on the cyclical. That is, it includes the cyclical pattern with the seasonal movements. So the irregular movement, irregular component is the thing which doesn't comes under the above three. It may be the combination of the three, otherwise it can be a different one from the above three. For example, we can have the natural calamities, the earthquake, so irregular movements. Okay, so these are the components which comes under the time series analysis. And this is the time series analysis component, that is yt is equal to tt plus ct plus st plus rt. Here these small t's refers to the time period that is given time period, that is t time period, and y refers to the value of this analysis, time series analysis, and t refers to the trend values, which is the secular trend, long period, long term, long period trend. T refers to the secular trend, and C refers to the cyclical patterns, S is the seasonal patterns, seasonal variations, and R refers to the irregular movements, that is which is random. So these are the components of the time series analysis. Is it clear? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am. So these are the diagrams of the components. So the first one shows the long-term trend, which is secular. Secular trend is the long-term trend, which includes different time periods. So we are having a straight line. Normally the trend line is a straight line, linear line. So we are having a long-term trend, and the second diagram which includes the long-term trend along with the cyclical patterns. So the blue line shows the cyclical patterns, and the third diagram which shows the long-term trend, which is the linear line, and the wave-like line is the cyclical pattern, and we are having small up and downs. So those refers to the seasonal variations. So in this third diagram, it's a combination of the trend line, which is a straight one, linear line, and the cyclical variations, which has ups and downs, and the small ups and downs refers to the seasonal variations. And the last diagram shows all the long-term, cyclical, seasonal, and also the random movements. So just compare the seasonal movements of the diagram 3 and 4. In the diagram 3, it's a regular ups and downs, but in the diagram 4, the ups and downs are varies, so they are irregular. So the diagram 4 is the visualization of the long-term trend, secular trend, which is a linear line, and the red color line shows the cyclical pattern, and the ups and downs, which is in the blue line, shows the seasonal patterns, and those changes, ups and downs, are irregular. So that is called as the random movements, irregular movements.
Ma'am,
Is it clear?
while long-term trend is a straight line.
Yeah, okay. We are going to discuss in detail. It's coming. I'll explain it.
Okay.
Okay.
Ma'am,
Yeah.
in the previous slide,
Yeah.
can you show?
This one?
Yeah.
The diagram?
In this slide, the cyclic variation movement and seasonal variation movement are both like same now.
Yeah, okay. So see the diagram 2, the cyclical movements just show the ups and downs, long-term ups and the long-term downs. You can refer the phases of business cycle. So it's a curvy line which shows up and downs. So it contains many ups and downs. One up and one down called as a cycle. So this cyclical pattern continues with the more ups and downs. And this seasonal is the thing which is have some shorter up and down, because it's based on the season. So sometimes it may be in the upward movement and sometimes maybe the downward movement. So cyclical is the smooth curvy line, and seasonal variation is based on the demand at a particular time. So it has some ups and downs in it. So the cyclical term is the flat, yeah.
For a product, it may be only ups, because a product in the market which is unique, that has only ups. There is no down in the cycle period. Then
yeah, okay. For example, in the business cycle, we are having short-term cycle as well as the long-term cycles. It's based on the product's demand or the nature of the demand. For example, some cycle may have the period of 50 years too. So for the 50 years only it complete a cycle, a up and a down. So for have one up and one down, it takes some 50 years. So in some part it will be available for if we are taken the big cycle which contains for 50 years, we taken for 20 years means we can see the half of the cycle, only the up part where would be there. If you have taken the second part means only the downwards pattern will be there on the diagram. The economic activities will be in the downward sloping. So some cycles are based on the demand characteristics of the product. So that may be extended up to 50 years. So it should be, there should be some up and down. And if we are taken for several years means, which is shorter than a cycle period, a single cycle period means we can see only a up or a downward movement. If a cycle is taken together for all the years for one cycle period means we can see a up and a down. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So methods of measuring trend, that is based on the time series analysis. We are having 4 methods of this trend analysis, which is also called as the time series analysis. First one is the freehand method, which is also called as the graphical method. Second one is semi-average and moving average method, and the method of least square. Sorry, it's not method or method of least square. So we are having 4 methods to measure the trend. Trend line is the linear line which is based on the past movements of the product, and I'll explain why it is a straight line, linear line. So this is the freehand method, graphical method. So here we are having an example. So the example says it contains the years, several years, and the profit on those years. So it starts from 1989 to 1996. So on these years, the profits were given here. So in the diagram which was below the table, it contains a straight line and also a green line which is have some ups and downs. So the actual data, that is green line, shows the actual data which is plotted with the help of the table, and it will be clear with this. Yeah, okay. So the first diagram shows the data which were in the table are plotted, only the points were there, and the second diagram shows if those points are joined together means we are having a curvy line. From that curvy line, the pink line which is extended for the future period, so that is called as the forecast. And in the third diagram we are having the dotted lines as well as the straight line. So the dotted line is the actual data which was given in the table, so those points are plotted and that points are joined together, and we had a line which has some ups and downs. So see this ups and downs movements, so it's generally increasing. So we are having a straight line which shows the upward movement of the variable. So the line, straight line, trend line, linear line shows the movement of the variables, maybe the upward movement or the downward movement. So the trend line is a linear line which is derived from the dotted lines, actual data. Is it clear? Yeah.
Yes, Doctor.
Okay. So in the fourth diagram, it just has the trend line, this straight line. So that straight line is called as the best fit. And in the fourth diagram, we are having some points which is as x. So those points are the actual points, the original points, original data which was given in the table. And those patterns shows the upward movement. So we are having a straight line with the same way, same thing, which is based on the past data. So that line is called as the trend line, which is linear, which is based on the movement of the dotted lines, the data which was given originally. So that line is called as the trend line or the best fit line. Is it clear, guys?
Yes, ma'am.
So that's why here we are having a dotted line which is linear, called as the trend line. The green line is the actual data, original data which was given in the which was collected for the past years, and this dotted line shows the trend of the movement of the dotted lines, so it slope upwards. So that linear line is called as the trend line. So this is under the graphical method. Just we are plotting the points which was given, and we are having a curvy line which has some up and down movements, and those pattern, the same pattern, maybe the upward or the downward slope is followed, and we are drawing a straight line which shows the movement of the data or the variable, and that is called as the trend line or the line of best fit line. Is it clear? Okay, so this is under the graphical method. So the second method is semi-average method. Okay. So semi-average method, here also we are having some chronological data which is for the variable production. So it starts from the year 1989 and ends in 1996. So we are having the production for those years. Semi-average shows the that is all the data which were collected. So the past data are equally divided into two, and we are having taken the averages of the first half and the second half. So only we are having two values. The whole data was divided into two, semi-average. It's a semi-average. So the whole data is divided into two, and the first half averages were taken and the second half averages were taken. So only these 2 points are available, and these 2 points are plotted on the graph, and these 2 points are joined. So that line is called as the trend line under the semi-average method. So here also we are having some more examples. So year and the production was given, and on the first diagram you are having even number of values. So it is divided into equally half. It is divided into two equal parts. So the first half's average is 14, second half's average is 26.5. So these 2 points are plotted and they are joined. So that line is called as the trend line. On your right side diagram, it's the odd numbers. So the middle one has left out because those are the continuous years. So the middle one was left out. That is for calculation purpose. But while in the diagram, it lies in between these data. So the first half, the middle one was left out. So then the first half's average was calculated and the second half's average was calculated, and both points are plotted and joined. So the left out year for 2003 is in between this line. Is it clear, guys? So this is under the semi-average method. Okay, ma'am. So this is under the semi-average method. The whole data was equally divided into 2 parts. So the first half's total was calculated and average is calculated, and for the same pattern, second half's average is calculated, and these 2 averages was plotted on the graph, and if you are joining these 2 points, means that line is called as the trend line under the semi-average method. Is it clear?
But this can be used only for data that only increases or only decreases now.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, okay. If we are having some up and down movements, for example, if we are having some ups and if the diagram visible, graph visible, is the graph visible on the slide?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am. So in this example, those points are shows the upward movement. So this is the trend line movement. If we are having, if the product is having some cyclical movements means then will be the linear line will be having some up and downs. So on that cases, it is difficult to fit the line which is called as the trend line. So if the data are some upward movement or the downward movement means then we can have a trend line. So that's why it is called as the best fit line. If the points are plotted, which is in the graph, if the points are having some cyclical wave-like movements means then it is difficult to fit a trend line. So in general, if you have taken the past sales means normally it's having the increasing, it shows on the whole, it shows the increasing pattern, otherwise a decreasing pattern. So the same pattern is extended through a trend line, through a linear line for the future periods. You can see, you can take some past data, maybe for any product, you can see the past data and you can plot the points and you can join the line and you can see the movements, whether it's a upward or a downward or a cyclical movement. Mostly this will be all the, which is based on the past data, maybe the production or the sales or the profit or the demand, anything. For all the variables which is based on the past data shows the upward movement. This is in general, but here also we are having some exceptions, maybe in cyclical movements or a downward movement. So this is a general thing. So from this we are having a trend line. Normally it slope upwards, shows an increasing pattern. For example, we can take the example of food grains in India. So from 1950 till 2020, it shows the increasing pattern or a decreasing pattern. Production of food grains in India.
Increasing pattern.
Okay.
Increasing.
Yeah, okay. Production of mobiles in India, increasing. And for electronic items,
Increasing.
for milk and milk products, yeah,
Increasing only.
yeah, okay. So if the data based on the past sale means normally it shows the upward movement, so the trend line is in the increasing path.
Ma'am, trend line is an increasing pattern.
Yeah.
It is generally in increasing pattern, but why trend line is a straight line? Because it may be in 1985, it may be some more productions are there, and in 1986, in subsequent year, less production is there.
Yeah,
Then
okay,
why
okay.
trend line is straight line?
Yeah, okay. So if a company wants to forecast the demand in the year 2025 means it can take some 20 years data or 50 years data. From 2020, 50 years back means it can take the data from 1970s. So in from 1970 to 2020, for these 50 years, long years, there may be some reduction in the production of a particular commodity too. But on the whole, for 50 years too, for 50 years, it shows the increasing pattern. For 1 or 2 years, there may be some downward slope of a curve. There may be some up and down. But as a whole, it's clear in the diagram 3. There may be some downs in the line in the actual data which is plotted, but all together for the whole years, for the 50 years, for all the years, it shows the pattern, upward slope, upward increasing pattern, which slope upwards, which goes upwards. So on the whole, the slope was taken and the line was drawn. For some years, as you said, for some years there may be reduction in the production. But the whole production for the years, for 50 years were taken, and the future movement, future forecast is predicted. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
This is not for a particular year. This is for whole the years where the past data are available. Past data is available. Okay. What is the time now?
Ma'am.
Yeah.
In this slide, we take
slide?
in this slide.
Hmm.
We taken 1991 as the point of the average value. We got 14. In
the second diagram.
In the first diagram.
First diagram. Okay.
Or
we take
1991 as 14 average value. Why?
1991. That's not for 19. That's not for the year alone. 1991. So it's taken from 1990 to 93. So the first half. Here we are having 8 years data. So the 8 years data was divided into 2. The first half and the second half. So first half production is that is 15, 11, 20 plus 10. So the averages of all these 4 years is 14. Are you asking this one?
No, ma'am. I am asking on the x-axis which year we have to take it.
Oh, on the diagram you are asking about. Okay. So the points 14 and 26.25. So these 2 points only plotted on the graph. So it's in the year 1991. You are asking something. Okay. So it may be in between the year 1991 to 92, because these 4 years, if it is on the odd years, means we are having 5 or 7, means you can start the point at the middle of the year. Here it's on the even number, so you can start the point in between 1991 to 92. But that point shows the averages of 90 to 93. So you can on the middle you can have it in between 91 to 92. So here it starts from here it starts from 91. So
we have to take in the average of all the year also.
Not year, only the production value.
Then the line may be vary, no? The slope should be maybe vary.
Yeah, maybe vary.
Yeah.
Here it starts from 1991 because it's an assumption. The point 14, here it's 14. It should be started in between 90 to 93. So the 14 is the average of these 4 years. So it may be normally it may be in between 90 to 93. But the point actually should start in the middle of the average years, average variable which was taken for concerned years. So it should be start in between 1991 to 92. So somewhere in 91 or 92, or exactly in between the year 91, 92. But we can make the points, we can plot the points in between these 4 years from 90 to 93. So that's why it starts from 1991 here.
Okay, fine.
It's based on the person who's drawn, who is make this diagram. So it may be start from the year 90 to 93 and ends in 93. Otherwise, you can start from the exactly middle point in between the year 91 and 92. Okay, likewise for the second diagram too. So it can be start in the year 2001. So it's in between 2001 and 1 and 2. It's 2 and 3. Yeah, okay. Is it clear, guys? Semi-average method, is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. If the question is asked to you for a graph, for make a graph under the semi-average, means you can start from the exactly the middle point. Okay, I think the term is 10:21. I'll download attendance list. Yeah, okay, guys. This is the third method, and we can see in Monday class. Is it clear, guys? So in this class, just we discussed the qualitative method of demand forecasting, and on the quantitative part, on the first method, time series trend projection analysis. Out of the 4 types, we discussed the first 2. So this is the thing which we discussed in this class. So we can start this third one in the next class. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, ma.